Welcome to Ask When Everyone. Today with me I have Kellina, and I'm going to Kellina take it away.
Thank you so much for having me today. I'm excited to be here. Hello, everybody. My name is Kellina, and I am international speaker, a coach, author, and lastly, an advocate for the deaf community.
The deaf community, I can hear, people can't see you, but I can hear you're partially deaf, if correct me if I'm wrong. So how much hearing do you have? I mean, you're not completely deaf.
So, that's a great question. I am known as hard of hearing. So without my hearing aid, I am completely deaf. So I lost 100% of my hearing.
Okay, so you lost 100% of your hearing. So you need hearing aids like this no tomorrow. So what was how did you become hard of hearing?
I lost it due to an ear infection at the age of 4.
So you were completely able-bodied and ay, 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 ay. Then you got the infection and then it damaged your hearing.
Yes, so I don't know what happened, but I just know that I just had a lot of like health condition
Yeah,
when I was a baby, so that's what caused it as well.
yeah. So, Kalina, what is the stigma that you want to break about the hard of hearing and the deaf community?
I just wanted to break that every deaf person you meet don't always know ASL. Like for myself, I do not know ASL, unfortunately, because I would switch over to a hearing school instead of the deaf school. So I was not able to learn ASL. And that is something I do want to break it to people because a lot of people think that every deaf person knows ASL. And second thing is that not every deaf person you meet knows how to speak and know ASL or don't speak at all or just do strictly ASL. I know a lot of people get that confused in between the hard of hearing and the deaf community, but we're all in one community, really.
So, so what you're trying to say is the stigma is don't automatically assume, ask.
Exactly.
So, what if you had to live, if you had to live in one person's shoes, dead or alive, what would it be?
Can you repeat that one more time for me, please?
If you had to be in one person's shoes, dead or alive, who would that be?
Um, that's a really hard question because all the people that I want to be are passed away, unfortunately. I would say I would love to be maybe Kris Jenner, just because she is the model. I would say she's so good at handling her business, and a woman who has, well, how many kids does she have? I can't even count. And it's so crazy as a mom, a businesswoman. So that definitely inspired me to be like her because I always dreamed to be a big boss woman, have so many kids, teach my kids about business. So that's something that I really like about Kris Jenner. I know people be like, oh my God, Kris Jenner.
No, but when you actually think about it, Kris Jenner, the aside from the interesting life she's lived, let's just put it that way, she is really, really a phenomenal mom to her kids. And she's now a phenomenal grandmother to her grandkids too, because she has had that life experience. I mean, for those of you who don't know, her husband Bruce turned um, turned transgender, and so he turned into Caitlin, and we watched that. For those of you who also don't know, the Kardashians were originally involved in the O.J. Simpson trial. First husband was O.J.'s lawyer. So considering that and considering they were in the spotlight long before they had a TV show, and they were in the spotlight back in 1998 when the O.J. Simpson trial happened. She was less in the spotlight than he was, but Robert Kardashian, but considering she's now got a husband that's a woman and a husband that's deceased, and she is friends with, well, the kids called OJ at one point their uncle because they were so close due to the court proceedings. And so considering that Kris Jenner lives an interesting life, she is a phenomenal mom behind the scenes.
I agree.
And so, what do you think the special ed system has taught these kids what it should teach these kids?
I would say that it's so hard because I never would thought about it when I was in school myself. And I would say not all teachers, but some special ED teachers do. It really depends on their passion. I know some teachers just there to teach and they don't want to put a benefit on the child's life, if that makes sense. And also too, I would say that there needs to be more improvement. It's not 100% there, as I would say, just because myself who graduated from college, so I'm not that old. So I know that they definitely need to do a lot better for not just educating special ED kids, but also kids who are not in that environment, because there's a lot of lack of education about teaching these other kids to be more inclusive for the special ED kid.
Yes, I was actually, funny you mentioned that, Kellina. I was actually talking to someone last night about how parents, how parents do not teach their kids about disabilities, and then they see me in a wheelchair. The kids run the other direction and ask their mommy and daddy what is going on. And I don't think it's, yeah. I was raised in a very small town with the privilege of, I had the privilege of going to a private school, and I also had the privilege of going to a public school that acted more like a private school than public school, but that's just the nature of beast. But during my time in that private school, the kids were very inclusive towards me and towards the other individual who got a disability at the middle of the school year, and then actually unfortunately passed away from childhood leukemia. So imagine that you're trying to learn the ABCs and 1, 2, 3s, and yet you have a classmate that passes away from childhood leukemia, and all all the teachers are on the ground devastated, except for one teacher who held it all together. You know who you are. And so it's interesting because when I went to high school, when I went to high school for ninth grade through 12th grade, it's the shocking reality hit me of, yes, the education system is awful. Yes, the special ed system is awful. Yes, it needs to be improved. Here I was in my sheltered little bubble, and I got my first degree in teaching, and turns out that I didn't like it. Turns out that teaching and civil law, they don't mix. And so basically, I am slowly but surely going, I'm taking the bike right now because of the move and because I need to figure out what I'm going to do with my journalism degree. But I am slowly but surely working on a journalism degree. And yeah, and so, yay, Kellina said yay, but I've come to realize that the education system needs a lot of help, especially in the in the state I'm in now. We're below state average. Arizona is below state average in the education system, and I dare go, and people know this, I dare go into the Arizona school districts and teach. Teach as a white woman in a wheelchair? I don't think so. And so, but I am going to pursue journalism and eventually finish my degree, don't know when, but eventually finish my degree and stick with journalism.
That's good. Oh my God, I'm glad you found your path and passion, because I know it hadn't been easy route, right? Especially us when we're trying to figure out where do we fit in terms of where do we feel comfortable, right? Because that's super important.
Yeah. And in the complex where I live, it's a private home community specifically designed for people with disabilities. And in the complex where I live, it's like sticking a round peg into a square hole. I'm the only one that uses assistive devices to get around. I don't have autism. I don't have, I am not deaf. I am not hard of hearing. I don't have juvenile arthritis. I don't have all these disabilities, but I don't have an eating disorder. But yet it's and the eating disorder is tough, trust me. Those next door neighbors who do have it, I feel for them, but I am a round peg in the square hole. I mean, I moved down here just for the safety and confidence of getting
Exactly.
24-hour help. But I banged my own drum. I banged to my own drum. And for those of you who stuck around me long enough to know, I banged to my own drum. And so it's interesting. I was sitting at the table with autism, juvenile arthritis, and one other disability, which I don't know. But it's interesting how we all get along as a human society despite all the disabilities.
I agree 100%. People don't realize how big the community is.
People don't realize how big the community of disabled is because they're all and I hate to put it this way, but I will. They're all focused on themselves. They're all focused on their disability. They're not focused on the other disabilities. So, Kellina, where can everyone find you if they choose to do so?
Everybody can find me on Instagram, which is Deaf Queen Boss, or you guys can look me up on, which is my website, sorry, KellinaEmpowerment.com.
KellinaEmpowerment.com or Instagram. And yeah, and so Kellina Empowerment. Look up, you guys support her because all disabled need to feel loved, and all disabled need to have an equal place at the table. And I hope you guys enjoyed this fabulous episode. I certainly did, and I hope you guys learned a thing or two and how to support people with disabilities. And I'll catch you guys next time. Bye, you guys. Thank you.